Well, hello, Stacey Murphy here with the kickoff video to the How to Grow $400 worth of vegetables in 40 Days challenge. And this video is all about mindset. If you are a beginning grower, you're going to have a little bit of a hurdle to get over. This is something new you're trying to incorporate into your life. And in order to find success in that longer term goal of growing a certain number worth of groceries in a certain number of days, you have to break it down into pieces that you can easily manage. And we're going to talk about that. And if you are an experienced grower, I know you're like, all right, let's get started, right? So what I want to talk about in this video is the mindset that's going to help you get through your days, move through this challenge effectively, and really get the most out of it, whether or not this is your first crops that you've ever grown, or whether this is, your 10th season and you're just trying to increase your yield. So the first piece of the puzzle is, let's be real, where are you now? So take a look at your life and take a look at your experience gardening and see if you can set a realistic goal for yourself. So if this is your first time ever growing vegetables, you might say, okay, my goal is to grow $200 worth of groceries in 40 days or $100 worth of groceries in 40 days. And then you're going to shock yourself because you might grow more. And if you're an experienced grower and you have a lot of space, you might set your number higher. So this number that I'm setting, $400 in 40 days, is a number that could be achievable for somebody who's got some experience, I would say 1 or 2 years experience, and has about 100 square feet of growing space. And that means actual growing space, not walking space. That's where the plants are being grown. So I would say that's achievable for somebody with 1 to 2 years experience. So you might want to set your sights a little bit lower if this is your first time ever growing. Now, the other thing about this mindset, let's get real. What else is happening in your life right now? Is the 40-day challenge the right moment in this moment, or do you want to wait until something big has taken place? Like maybe you're finishing finals for school or something, and there's a lot going on in your head to accomplish that goal. Maybe you take a moment and you say, okay, there is an appropriate time for this challenge where I know I can dedicate myself to it, and then that's going to lead you to the best possible outcome, right? And keep in mind that especially if you're a first-time grower, you want to set yourself up for a really good chance of success. And so you want to make sure that you have time to focus on this. In the long run, you're going to find that you can do this in less than an hour each week. You could grow $400 worth of vegetables in 40 days in 100 square feet in less than an hour. But when you're just getting started, it might take you a little bit more time to work through the process. So be patient with that and set some time aside for it. All right, so third piece of the mindset is daily and weekly habits matter. Perfection is a waste of time. So what you want to do is just set yourself up for taking bite-sized chunks out of the task at hand. And I'm going to be walking you through week by week what to be doing, and just focus on those daily and weekly habits and just keep taking those next steps. And you're going to find that you might reach more harvest than you would have otherwise. If you're focusing on the long-term outcome, sometimes you miss the baby steps to get there. So just focus on those baby steps for now. And then, of course, the next step is to take a look around and figure out what resources you already have available. Do you have a garden bed available? Do you have some soil available? Do you have some volunteer help available? Maybe your kids want to get involved or your neighbors want to get involved. And then what new resources do you still need? Because if you're just getting started and you don't have a garden bed up and running yet, you might have to take a little bit of time that first week to set the garden bed up. All right? And then getting into the mindset that temperatures matter. So if you're a first-time grower, you might not want to charge right outside and start planting. So in the coming videos, we're going to talk about temperatures and planting temperatures for vegetables and herbs. And so you're going to want to take some time to understand the right time to start planting. So it's not like today is the first day and you're going to run right outside. You're going to wait for the ideal conditions to make your life easy. Because if you try to grow vegetables and the temperature is not ideal, they grow in much slower, or they don't grow at all. So you want to set yourself up for success. So we'll be talking about that. Next thing, hydration matters, right? So this first 40 days, if you have never gardened before, you might find yourself dealing with watering more than typical. And in the long run, you're going to set yourself up with a system. But these first 40 days might be a little bit experimental, and you might be trying different things, getting the hydration just right, getting to know that process. And there's a whole video about that as well. So just keeping in mind that in the long run, you don't have to spend quite as much time on watering. If you understand it in this process of 40 days, you can start to automate your water later. Okay, and then in part of the mindset is to be open to choosing crops that are easy and expensive at the store. So the idea behind this challenge is we like inexpensive organic vegetables. So if we look at the store and we see what we're spending a lot of money on, the expensive organics, I find leafy greens, they're so expensive at the store. You get like 10 in a bunch for like $3, and I can go and grow that in like, so little time in my garden. So be open to choosing crops that are easy to grow. These are things that maybe you haven't thought about growing or eating, I should say, but be open to that idea that this could change your diet and that this might be a way to feed yourself less expensively if you can really dial in the crops that are easy, and when they're expensive at the store, that means that you're saving so much money by growing them yourself. All right, the next bit of mindset is that once a week, you're going to write things down. So get in the habit of writing down the process. And the reason why this is so important is that the next time you do another 40 days, let's say, you have this all mapped out and you could replicate it. And that's when gardening starts to really save you time and energy, is when you just have a system in place and you just do the same thing again. Big piece of the mindset is have fun and enjoy some friendly competition. So, get on out there and just enjoy that time outside with those vegetables, and also, have fun posting with the community group and share those photos, those garden photos. A little bit of friendly competition helps spur people along, and share your progress with people. Celebrate where you are. You're going to see other people celebrating where you are. And for those of you who, when you're having those days when it's just not working for you, like let's say something didn't work in the garden the way that you thought it would, the community is a really good place to find some support. And not only are we there to have some fun, but we're there to help teach each other so that we can improve, right? And so share your stories weekly or post daily, and let people know how it's going, whether it's a success and you want to celebrate it, or whether you're having a challenge and you want to address it. Because if you sit there with your challenge, you might find yourself getting stuck, and that's not what I want for anybody. So I want you to share any of your challenges so that the rest of the community can help you keep moving forward. Remember, baby steps, daily actions. We don't need perfection. I mean, our gardens, things, even after years and years of growing, nothing happens exactly the way that I hoped. It's close sometimes, but not exactly. So that's something to celebrate, is those lessons that we're learning in order to improve. All right, so keep in mind, this mindset is everything. When you go into this challenge, you start off really strong, you're really excited, and then there's some work involved. There's some actual physical work, and having to go out, purchase some plants, get some supplies, actually plant the plants, do a little bit of watering. And what starts to happen is we start to forget about it. It starts to lose its edge, right? But what I would love for you is for these 40 days to be committed, to be dedicated, to be doing this wholeheartedly, and you're going to shock yourself how much you might be able to grow. All right, take care. I'll see you on the next video.